Hello and welcome to Thought for the Day from St. Peter's, Bexhill. We have another story from the Old Testament, this one about Samuel hearing a voice. God's people are now safely in the Promised Land and they are sorting things out about how they live. Samuel hears a voice. Now that God's people were living in their own land, there were so many things he wanted to tell them. How to be happy, how to take care of each other, how to protect themselves from their enemies. So God decided to choose someone to speak for him, someone he could talk to, who would then go and talk to the people, someone called a prophet. God looked and looked all over the land of Israel, eager to pick just the right person. And finally he found him in the village of Shiloh, in the house of Eli the priest, a little boy. Samuel, God called one night. Samuel, I want to talk with you. Samuel sat up and rubbed his sleepy eyes. He'd never heard God's voice before, and he thought that old Eli was calling him. So Samuel stumbled into Eli's room to see what he wanted. But Eli just shooed him back to bed. Samuel, God called again. Samuel, listen. Samuel was confused this time and a little scared, so he crept back into Eli's room. I told you, boy, yawned the old priest. I didn't call you. Now off to bed. Samuel didn't know what to think as he crawled under his covers, but when God called Samuel, Samuel, for the third time, he knew what to do. He dashed back to Eli just as fast as he could. Samuel, sighed Eli, if either of us is going to get any sleep tonight, we need to find out who's calling you. And I have an idea who it might be. So the next time you hear that voice, I don't want you to come running in here. Instead, I want you to say, "Speak, Lord, and I will listen." Samuel's eyes opened wide. You mean it's God who's calling me? Do as I tell you, said Eli, and we'll find out. So Samuel went back to bed. God called his name again. This time Samuel stayed there and listened to God, and his eyes opened wide with wonder. And from that moment until Samuel was himself an old man, God talked to Samuel, giving him messages to pass on to the people. And just like the first time, God's messages never failed to leave him wide-eyed with wonder. Amen.